Hey guys, how's it going? GriffyBit here for another episode of Unit Rundown. Today, we're doing my personal favorite unit, the Bomber. So let's get down into it. The Bomber is one of those units that have an incredibly high cooldown, but played correctly can literally win you the map on the leaderboard. It has all around low damage, but in the long run, if you have the proper specialization and it is epic, it can actually be one of the best units in the game. So let's go over the basics from stats to milestones to unit priority. Like we do in all the other videos is we go down the rundown of the non-epic version and then the epic version. So this is for the non-epic version side. Its role is range. Its attack range is 3. Its attack speed is 0.5, which is attacks per second. Its move speed, and it can target flying. The epic version, however, has an attack range of 4. Same attack speed, same movement speed, but that one extra range is a huge thing. The milestone abilities are pretty generic. The level 1 to 4 is 10% damage towards melee, 5 to 9 is 20%, 10 to 19 is 30%, 20 to 29 is 40%, and then that juicy level 30 is at 50% bonus damage against melee units. This does not change between non-epic and epic version. They stay the same of the milestone, which is actually different than most other units. Target priority is a little different with Bomber as well. It actually has a priority range of 2 and then the attack range of 3. If there is no units within 2 range, it will seek out and attack the closest enemy target of any type. If the enemy gets close and ends up within the 2 range, inside the 2 range radius, it will prioritize first armored and balloon buster, then melee, then ranged, which is actually kind of weird how that works. You don't usually see too many units that have a aggro priority less than their range. So keep that in mind. And the units they can walk through are armored, melee, assassins, monks, and templars. They cannot walk through other range units, healers, or flag bearers. And of course, I'm not going over the stats of health and power because health and power vary between epic and non-epic and also the specialization that you're currently having. Now we're into the juicy part. Let's talk specializations, the ones that you come here for, the ones that you want to know, and everything in between. Specializations are the cream of the creme of these videos. So let's talk about the first one. We're going to talk about Volatile Bomber. Volatile Bomber on death deals 15 range type damage to all enemies in a 2 AoE. Damage is affected by buffs and debuffs. For the epic version, they deal 35 in a 4 range radius. Still both range type, but it gets an extra 20 damage. Flak Bomber does 40% damage against range units, and then the set bonus damage to melee units is 40% regardless of level. So the set bonus of what they're talking about is milestones. So when you get 50% at level 30, if you're using Flak Bomber, you still only get 40%. You know, these specializations, the biggest issue with these types of specializations that we have here is the fact is they attack units that aren't their priority targets. So they'll do extra damage towards range, but they'll be targeting armor in the first place. So Flak is only not very good or viable in any situation. Same with Volatile. You're not going to be in an area where your bomber is going to get nuked to a point where they're going to do any damage with the explosion. And then we got the creme de la creme specialization. We got our big dog. We got our boy, the Farsight Bomber. This is the spec you want to pick. Trust me on this. It increases your attack range by 1 from 3 to 4. The target priority range goes by 2 to 4. So it increases it by 2. So it makes your priority range and your target range the exact same range. The epic version increases the range by 2. So from 4 range to 6 range. Now you have some actual good range. And its target priority also goes by 4. So your target priority goes from 2 to 6. So it makes it the same as well. This is the spec you want to pick because this is what makes a bomber actually ranged. If you do not have Farsight spec, you'll see yourself being a bomber that's practically trying to be a wannabe barbarian. It's in that exact attack range. It's that close. And if you're going to go bomber and you're going to use bomber, please go Farsight. Just do it. Just do it for the Farsight. Where do you want to place the bomber? Where do you want to have it? In the other videos, how we said we had tanks in the front, warriors on the sides, supports in the middle, and range in the back. Say if you have 3 lines of range on your battle markers, you want to have them in the front line of those range markers because of their range is so low. They have AoE, yes. They have range, yes. Do they have range when they low level? Absolutely not. Not even close. So, in order to counteract this, you need to have the units closer up. You have them closer up, you'll actually find yourself ability to actually do damage. And since they have the ability to pass through armor, they have a better chance of actually getting some hits off. So make sure when you place your bombers, they're close to the front line. Remember that. Let's go over the pros and cons of the beautiful, bodacious bomber. Pros. It's considered one of the best captain units in the game. It's also considered one of the best epic units with the proper specialization in the game. PvE, it's by far gonna carry you hands down. It has a medium level cooldown, so it's only 30 minutes. And you'd think 30 minutes is a long time, but if you do enough battles in the day, it's actually not that much. They do tend to show up in the shop quite a bit, so it's good to find them in the shop, but they are on the pricier side of the shop. They're straight damage. They're AoE. You got enough range in a pile with no armors around it, and you got melee in there as well, they're going to nuke out the melee. They're going to take out the melee because their AoE is absolutely disgusting. That's what they are. They're damage dealers. That's the biggest pro I could give you, is they're just big dog damage dealers. Cons. They do have a 30-minute cooldown. And I know I said it's pro, but it's also a con at the same time, depending if you're doing fast battles or not. They are terrible units. Pre-level 20 and pre-specialization. Absolute trash. Getting them up to that level is horrible. Their range is their biggest downfall. They are practically, like I said before, they are a ranged barbarian. They get too close and they get nuked. Their single target damage is horrible. AoE is great, but their single target is not there. So if you have a priority target, you're not going to be doing a lot. One of the worst units for PvP. You want to use this character specifically for PvE. He's a one-trick pony. You take one specialization only. You don't take anywhere else. For dupe, same thing. You take Farsight. So let's talk about my own personal opinion about the bomber. I love the bomber. Bomber's favorite unit in the game. It is the best PvE unit for captain and for epic unit. In my personal opinion, it gets top of the leaderboard all the time. It's just like the barbarian. But when you're first starting the game, my biggest problem about the bomber is the fact that the range is so lacking. The biggest problem is people don't quite understand the lacking of the range, so then they start dropping them in PvP and causing to waste percentage on bombers when they just get nuked out from a better ranged unit. All around, the bomber has a lot going for it, especially with the 30-minute cooldown. It's not as bad as something like a Centurion, where you have to wait that extra timer, so it is coming to your disposal as much as possible. So if you are getting the bomber, for me personally, I farmed hard. I knew what the bomber was capable of. I knew the strengths of it, so I prioritized most of my efforts to always place bomber on cooldown. But like I said before, PvP, cross it off your list, unless you're a captain. Then place bomber. In PvE, go for it. Every time you can place Farsight bomber, do it. You're going to see good things from it. So my personal opinion, I love it. It's one of my personal favorite units, and that's all there is to it. So the rating for the bomber, I am going to give the bomber a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10 for the bomber. I would give it a 9 out of 10 unit, but it's the range that gives the returns. It's the range that is the biggest problem. If you started off with more range with a baseline unit of a bomber, easy 9. So I would say pre-7, 7 out of 10. So if I say pre-20, 6 out of 10. After 20, easy 9. So let's meet in the middle. Hey, did I mention it sucks at PvP? Have everything in as a generalist instead of having the 1% or the 99% percentile. And we're going to go with 7 out of 10. And guys, that has been episode 3 of SR Unit Rundown. Leave me in the comment section below which unit you would like to see next, which unit you're interested in. Maybe hit that like and subscribe button, because YouTube, we're going to make our journey to 2K subscribers. That's our first threshold, and we're going to make it on. We're only at last time I checked, 169, so we got a long ways to go, so all the love and support is very, very much appreciated. And if you do want to join in some of my SR battles, you can check me out on Twitch. I do a lot of SR battles for 9 hours a day for most of the week. So if you want to catch me, feel free to do so. Anyway, I've been your stream captain for today. My name is GriffyBit, proud owner of the Itty Bitty Army, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.